Hello, wow, I just accidentally just turned that off. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Arden, the crotchety old man. That was actually the theme song for those who are Generation X and older from Little House on the Prairie. Here's a question. How many people actually know that Little House on the Prairie, the book, is actually in Minnesota? I did not know that until about 8 years ago. I assumed it was like Kansas or, on the prairie in my mind. Who knew it was Minnesota? So we'll get to Minnesota a little bit later. But right now, hold on, I got to put on my dramatic voice. So right now, we are going through a historical event of snow across the country. The entire country is enveloped into the most fearsome storm ever. Yeah, not really. We got like, I'm in Herndon, Virginia, and I remember when this storm was predicted. It was predicted at roughly anywhere between a foot and 28 inches. It's gonna be the worst storm ever. I think we got maybe like 8 inches, maybe. I mean, it was, uh, it was yeah, not exactly a whopper. I mean, it started to have rain and sleet from snow pretty much at like 11 o'clock in the morning. Went outside, cleaned off the car, uh, shoveled a little. Yeah. But basically, today was a nerd day. But speaking of nerds, so I don't know, most people, this has been kind of left out of the news for a while, but the World Economic Forum actually does not have a climate agenda. Yeah, it was dropped. So no climate agenda at the World Economic Forum. Yeah, I wonder why. Maybe they have realized that all of this spending is what caused all the inflation around the world, and that there really wasn't climate change anymore. So now it's over. But there's other things we could protest. And we could protest, I don't know, maybe ice? Maybe? Yeah, I was going to play Ice Ice Baby, but that's been overdone. But just, and I am going to talk about Minnesota. I'm going to get back to it. But today, I'm having my own mini nerd fest. As some of our sorry, nerd listeners, some of our listeners who know me and have followed me since the beginning, we've actually had two nerd fests on the show. But I apologize. My nerd fest was actually canceled by me this year because I actually now work on weekends for my fun job. And it has been actually a lot of fun. So there was no Nerd Fest, but today we were closed because of the threat of the snow. God, I wish I had like a good bass voice because that would be good. But so we were closed. So I'm having my own mini Nerd Fest. I'm taking a break right now. I've been watching the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So roughly 12 hours of the Lord of the Rings. 12 hours. I think I've done like five, maybe. I'm literally in the Two Towers right now, but I'm taking a little break. By the way, the extended version, the best part about the extended version, I don't want to say the best part, but that actually is so different is the singing. The actual songs they sing, and there's actually a little dancing in it. Like, there's more of it in these movies. I mean, entire scenes that are in it. It's just like the books where they do actually mention the singing and everything else. But yeah, so I got a lot of junk food. I wish Daniel and Alfred were here, but then we would end up playing Zelda all day instead of being real nerds and watching nerd movies. But I do have And it's been a while since I've had some basement coffee. I'm having some basement French vanilla, and it looks like I even got. It's not French vanilla. This is vanilla caramel cream basement coffee, and it is a. I don't know. Let me have another sip. Hold on. Yep, that is the finest coffee you can have in a basement. That is a joke for some people who don't know, and I'm never going to tell what the actual joke is. So let's talk about what's going on in Minnesota. So yesterday there was another shooting, and I actually, my average opinion, some of this may sound a little, and I don't want to come across as, I'm trying to be a little more realistic when it comes to the actual protests. First off, I truly believe that this is completely a ruse to literally focus over here on what's going on with ICE, then focus on all of the money and all the fraud that's on the left. All the fraud, all the money that's disappeared, and who's caused it all. The Democrats, they're losing their voters. Their voters are being taken out of the country. They're being deported. Please don't deport our voters. And now, if the media focuses back on the fraud and not this, they may actually have to come up with something. So you got tough guy Tim Walz and ultra tough guy Jacob Frey, who I wonder, Jacob Frey was definitely the kid who got wedgies in junior high school, elementary school, shoved in lockers. He got bullied probably. I mean, he was probably called dork many, many, many times. And now, I mean, the guy is just the ultimate little metrosexual cuck male that you could be. I mean, he's such a little wuss of wusses, and then he tries to act so tough when Trump is mean, and then he's dropping f-bombs. I mean, come on, dude, you're such a little wuss. I mean, most Americans see you and be like, oh my God, I just want to slap you. I don't want to punch you because I might break you. And a little slap, because that's what he deserves. But I mean, just a total butt. Yeah, so those two are literally, they want riots. They don't care if they want riots. They want their city to burn and their state to burn because it'll free them from probably even trying to burn some documents, maybe get rid of things, get rid of evidence. They're worried because if you remember, Tim Walz decided not to run right off the bat. He didn't want to run. And then all of a sudden, bam, all of these, we find out about the Somali problems. By the way, and I apologize for I'm so off track right now. When Tim Walz is giving a speech with the American flag, ooh, excuse me. Wow, there goes the basement coffee, a little basement coffee belch. But he's literally standing there. He's got the American flag and the Minnesota flag, and that was approved. The 8 stars looks similar, doesn't look just like, but looks very similar to the Somali flag. If you could see me, I would be if I had a beard, I'd be stroking it to the point. Yeah. I mean, they changed their flag. By the way, most state flags suck. I mean, let's be real. They're predominantly butt ugly flags. I mean, Texas is freaking awesome. Actually, Washington State is pretty cool because it's green and has George Washington on it. But Minnesota, it's awful, and that was approved. I wonder how many millions that cost. But anyway, all of these voters are now being arrested and deported, and now the professionals have come in, and the professionals, I'll give them a little bit credit. The professional protesters, it's fucking freezing out there. And they're out there, man. I was cold actually shoveling today, and I couldn't imagine just standing there yelling at the top of my lungs, for ICE to get the F out. I mean, I couldn't imagine. And now we've had the second shooting. Oh my God, The second shooting. Seriously? Um, Now, I'm going to be honest. I have only seen the second video. I never actually saw the original. I haven't spent much time watching regular TV. I've been nerding too much. Um, I'm not going to form any opinion at all as far as this instance because hopefully there's body cam footage. Hopefully we get to see it. Then I will actually wait for my answer because I have no clue. I do know if he did have a right to carry, yes, there's no problem with him carrying a gun there. But we don't know, did he take it out? Did he not? Da, da, da. I don't know. I wouldn't have done that. And there was people, I believe it was on Fox, who were complaining, and he had two clips. So what? They're illegal. I mean, once again, I wouldn't have done it. I'm gonna go. Not if there was a protest, I'm not taking my gun there, especially if there's any chance I may get arrested for anything. Oh, by the way, you get arrested, there goes your right to conceal carry. Dumbass. But I mean, I wouldn't have done it. But he had the right to do it. Who knows what happened? We'll find out hopefully soon. But the entire liberal left, that's their only talking point. They know all of these problems are literally caused, like all the problems that they're having. They're not winning voters. They're losing voters. They have no issues to run on. So they're trying to manufacture issues. The Epstein files, we're trying to manufacture that. But then magically the Clintons get into trouble because of their own stupidity. And now all of a sudden they have to defend them. Oh, well, let's go away from the Epstein files. Now let's go to this. I mean, they've always hated ICE. It's not that the people are being deported. That's not the issue. It's that Trump is deporting them. Clinton deported more. Obama was nicknamed the deporter in chief. So it wasn't that much of an issue. It's just that Trump's doing it. So now they have more media out there, and the media hates it. Oh, it's not fair. Oh. I'm watching people yell it's stolen land still. I'm like, oh my God, you literally have people flying flags of Mexico in Minnesota. That doesn't make sense. Mexico and Spain never were near Minnesota. By the way, useless information. It is actually, I had a long conversation with when I was in college, and I was actually told by one of my professors that the Vikings, who did discover North America, and sorry, it wasn't Columbus, the Vikings were there. We know it, just go to Newfoundland. But there were evidence of Viking runic writings in Minnesota. Thus, the football team is the Minnesota Vikings. So who knew that the Vikings actually there? Useless information. Anywho, back to this. So as just a general person, you see these idiots. Like, okay, crimes were committed. They don't want someone to arrest the criminals. In fact, they're being told they need to leave. ICE must leave. Okay, but the criminals can stay. So the people who broke the law can stay. ICE bad. Got it. Now, we have a person being shot and killed. Going back to January 6th, Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed. The same people who are going bonkers. The same Democrats and liberals on the media who are going bonkers over the police shooting. They didn't care about Ashley Babbitt. Didn't care at all that she was killed. Was she armed? Nope. And she was a woman who was shot and killed. So, and literally the police officer, the Washington police officer, was actually promoted. Yeah, so he actually made money off it. And I believe some of the other officers were writing books about it. So it's pretty fascinating that the media is just, they're all over this. They'll do anything. So, anyway, so I'm in the state of Virginia with our little teeny bit of snow. And I had a lot of fun at work on Saturday. I had a lot of conversations about our wonderful new governor, Abigail Spanberger, and the wonderful Congress that we now have that is going to be raising taxes up the wazoo. Now, she did not raise the Fairfax County tax. That was actually Fairfax County. I'm technically in Fairfax County, right on the border. And the Fairfax County food tax, prepared food, 4%. Not only was it voted down by the public of Fairfax, but the actual commissioner services or the board of governor, whatever, the little board actually decided to implement it anyway. It was voted down twice by the population, and this board said, we don't give a damn. We're going to raise your taxes. By the way, and prepare food. So who does the left always say that they're fighting for? The little guy, the little guy. Well, how many of the little guys are actually making that food, that work at the McDonald's, that work in the restaurants? They're mostly, probably 99% are all the little guy. So you're going to charge 4% more, meaning eventually less people will go because it becomes too expensive at 4%. It sounds like a very little bit. It's not that much, right? It's only 4 cents on every dollar. Yeah, but when you're saving pennies, there it goes. So then all of a sudden what happens? You have less people going out to eat. Less people eating means you need less staff. So you're getting rid of the little guy. Common sense. I was a little guy once, and I understand it. It's unbelievable. These people, do you think Spamberger goes to a McDonald's? No. It's a bunch of wealthy-esque people who could afford these taxes that are raising it on those beneath them. And they don't give a damn. They want their power. They want to be in charge. Now, the good thing is that Spanberger will only be in office for 4 years, but she's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. They are redistricting everything just like California, so basically nothing will ever get through. So even if we have someone who wins the Republican nomination, actually becomes the governor, well, they ain't going to be able to get anything passed for their one term in office. But they actually are creating new tax brackets, even higher than before. Now, I wish I was in those tax brackets to begin with, but they are just ramping it up higher and higher and higher. It's just really frustrating. It's truly and truly frustrating. But we have I was speaking to a gentleman at work. He doesn't listen to the show, and I'm not going to mention his name. And he actually was telling me a story that I believe is not true. I'm 90% sure it's not true. That during World War II, there was a general. I've heard it was Pershing, but Pershing wasn't in World War II. He was in World War I believe. In the Philippines, that he actually told a different story. I actually looked it up, and it actually said that this doesn't exist. That pig's blood was actually used on prisoners that were executed, and they were Muslim. Now, he told that story to me, but he wants it now implemented, that you should actually have a pig on every airplane. Interesting concept. I don't think the ASPCA would actually agree with it, or PETA. Was it the ASPCA? Yeah, but PETA I don't think would want pigs on planes. I mean, snakes on a plane? Yeah, that was a stupid ass funny movie. But pigs on planes, I've also seen videos of people bringing potbelly pigs, those little pigs, on subways, on the subway in New York, because they're worried. I think they should have bacon flavored cologne. Not to be funny, but if you have a bottle of bacon flavored cologne, spray it on yourself. Hey, actually show it to people. Maybe just carry some raw bacon. Wow, that's racist. I'm gonna get kicked off my own podcast by myself because it's a racist thing. No, but it's unbelievable. So if you have a dog and bacon, so if you have a dog and a potbelly pig, is anyone gonna mess with you or you're not gonna get beat up when you go to Minnesota. So I think ICE should just get a whole bunch of pigs and a whole bunch of dogs. There you go. Problem solved. All the Somalis will leave. Wow. All the illegal Somalis. Then all the naturalized citizens. Yeah, you could stay. It's your place. Enjoy it. It's like Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, so Virginia is totally effed. Minnesota's effed. New Jersey's messed up. I am actually curious though about Mamdani in his first. You know I'm obsessed with Mamdani. Mamdani. Ooh, I'm actually kind of obsessed with him. Like I was actually. This is sad. I was actually hoping like the snow would be so bad that there would be like power failure in New York, just to see what he would do. Just see if he can handle what it would take. Could he pull a Giuliani, or would he just cry? Like he would probably cry and blame President Trump, knowing him, and all the Democrats in the media would be like, "Yeah, it's all Trump's fault that the power went out in New York City." Yeah. All right. Enough political stuff. Let's get into some fun stuff. So another nerd, one of the nerd snacks I had last week, I went with the naked flavored Cool Ranch. So my fat ass went out and got some of the new Doritos nacho cheese, the normal one, the normal bag. Um, Love them. I mean, they are different to a little bit, but yeah, I would never go back to the regular with all the chemicals and everything. I actually got this time. I did buy a whole bag. I didn't buy the little tiny bag. I bought the big bag, and so that'll probably last me about an hour, an hour more. I ate like half the bag after shoveling. Fat A, but yeah, that's what I did. It's all right. Hold on, sip coffee. Yeah, so I actually did review a movie, and I found out it was actually part two, and I apologize. I forgot to write the name of it. So it's this movie, uh, and it's literally a Finnish, or it's a half in English and half, and I think is it Finnish? The people from Finland, what do they speak? Finnish? Finnish? Hard? Anyway, and it's a rock band. Now, I didn't know there was a part one when I was singing it. The problem with the movie is it doesn't have subtitles. Half the movie's in English and the other half is in Finnish. So when they're speaking to each other, not in English, you have no clue what's going on. But it's a heavy metal rock band that's in prison, and they want to go to this. They're being offered a chance to go to be in this big giant heavy metal concert, and they're going to play there, but they're in prison. Anyway, they escape prison, and it's just them going on. The cool part about the movie is all the yeah, all the homages they actually use to all of these uh, heavy metal and just rock legends. From anything from Lemmy's hat, to Jimi Hendrix's guitar, just all of these things that they have in the back. And they just they name drop a lot in this movie. It's pretty interesting. And I apologize, it's on Amazon. I wish I had the name off the top of my head, but sadly it was part two. And there are no subtitles. So you're watching it, trying to figure out what these guys are even talking about. Then all of a sudden they start speaking in English. And then you understand it. I don't know. I was tired. It was in the background, but one thing I am watching though, which I remember I'm rewatching it, and I'm glad I am. The TV show Warehouse 13, an actual show that never jumps the shark. I'm on season 4 out of 5, and 5 is only like 8 episodes. And what's really good about it, and it is dated, I apologize. They're all using blackberries, so they don't have they don't have. So one of the cool things is they have like this. It's like a phone, but they actually open it up and they can see each other, and it's kind of like FaceTime, but FaceTime wasn't invented yet. And the show was in 2012, 2013 is when it came out, so we didn't have the technology yet. but now we do. So it is a slightly dated. But the cool part is, it's this group. It's their Secret Service, and they protect this giant warehouse, 13, because there's been 12 other warehouses that has artifacts that are created usually by emotions, and each one does something. But the cool part is all of the history that they drop in it, because every single artifact, like they'll mention someone from history who had it. Talking about Jimi Hendrix guitar, like there's an episode where Jimi Hendrix guitar is an artifact that actually could shoot lightning bolts. But they mention all of these things, and some of them I've actually was actually like doing research after the show to find out who these people actually were. Because I mean, some are easy, but some you're just like, I've never heard of that person before. Who is it? Oh, and then you read the actual history of the person. So the writers have done a great job. I mean, the show it actually gets better as it goes. So for those who are looking for something easy to watch, by the way, not exactly a brain teaser, but just like a fun thing to have on when you're just killing some time doing other things. I mean, it's not like a must watch, but at Warehouse 13, good stuff. So that's what's going on. It's Nerdfest. We got riots, we got protests that are all fake. They're all manufactured. They're all professional protesters. The people in Minnesota are probably, in Minneapolis, are probably like, what the hell? Can we get these guys out of here? We don't want this George Floyd part 2. I mean, think about that. Why is it that the Democrats are defending the worst people? Why? But it's not like freedom of speech is the worst. They're defending rapists, criminals. They don't want them off the streets. Why? George Floyd was a slime bag. But, I mean, the police brutality, They get people in a tizzy who don't know anything. So when I was at work, not talking about George Floyd, going back to this Virginia, just people were coming in, and I was working in the morning, and I was like, oh, it's almost noon. And then a couple customers were like, yeah, I'm thinking I got to go get some lunch or something. And I said, well, you don't want to go to Fairfax County because they raised the lunch prices, the taxes. And I said, it's part of, possibly over some like 50 new taxes that are going to be hit. And the big one is the energy tax, where the average household will be actually estimated costs are going to go up over $1,000 for the year, an extra $100. Great. So I have no problem telling people that. You offer a bag for 5 cents and they'll complain. And I'm like, hey, that's not bad. I mean, the energy taxes are going up. And they're like, I get these looks like, what do you mean the energy tax? And I immediately tell them, I'm like, look, it's like, hey, that's what we voted for. More taxes. See, because the key is you have to pretend that you're one of them, because if you don't, they'll probably start doxing me, at work. They'll demand that I get fired. But the fact that I do it with all of them, like any customer who wants to complain about the 5-cent bag tax, which by the way is a Virginia tax that goes into a general fund. Yeah, great. And they just voted themselves raises, so that general fund has to pay for their raises. Nice job, bag tax. Anyway, so the bag tax, they're complaining about that. Just wait till they start getting their energy bills. Yes. So they'll be happy when they get their federal taxes back, but then they're going to be all upset about, their energy costs are so expensive. And they're going to start blaming Trump. And then when people like me say, yeah, it was Spamberger. And then when you say we voted for it, you can tell who's a Democrat and who's not. Because you get the rare conservative in there, and they're just like, hey, yeah, that bitch. And then I just start laughing. I'm like, yep, this Virginia. Just imagine like the great people from Virginia, like George Washington. He would walk into that he would just probably smack Spamberger in the face too. What's wrong with you, woman? He would go to Congress, smack everybody. Ay. I mean, Madison. Well, Madison was a tiny little guy, so I don't think he'd be smacking. He was like 5'3" or something like that. But it's all good. Anyway, well, I want to thank everyone and now I'm gonna go back to being a nerd, watch some Lord of the Rings. But feel free to reach out to me. Oh, I did get some guests. Dr. D, hopefully you're going to be joining us soon, and Dennis. If you, I just saw your email. I had some email glitches. My X, for some reason, my X does not work on my phone. What doesn't work on my phone? Oh wow, Little House on the Prairie is still going. My X is not working on my phone, so I did have, and Buzzsprout was not working on my phone, so I greatly apologize. But anyway, everyone, stay warm, have a great week, and I'll be back. Feel free to reach out to me, mostly on Buzzsprout, or we are crotchety old man at gmail. Oh, Arden, the crotchety old man at gmail.com. Thanks, and have an awesome week, everybody.